Hello again, this is the 2nd of October 2023 and this is another Orty Thoughty. And for reasons I can't really explain, I am feeling the need to talk about spinning on real people in general. I think there's three categories of real people. People you know, famous people, and dead people, historic characters. I think dead people are generally the easiest, the least problematic at all. I mean, everything they've done exists in full. You know, you have their complete works, their complete life story. It's there. Nothing's going to change, and they're not going to have any particular opinion on, you know, how you feel about them. The only issue you can have with dead people is that you know, you might find out something disappointing about them that is upsetting for a while. Which once you get over it, that's the end of the matter. Anyway, I'll move on from dead people because there's not really a lot to say about them. They're dead. I think the thing with spinning on real people is you can often mistake it for, or it could lead to, or come from, having a crush on them. Especially amongst asexuals, as you know, a disproportionately large amount of us are. You know, the feeling that you want to find out everything about a person, and you know, there's something very special, kind of almost magical about them. You know, it can feel like you are in love with them, and one can lead to the other. They can be both. And yeah, it can be absolutely indistinguishable. You know, the feeling is very much the same. It's and of course it's completely subjective and individual to each person. So do you have a crush? Do you have a spin on this particular person? It can be very hard to tell the difference. It can be impossible to tell the difference. I think the difference is irrelevant in a lot of cases. I think that the thing with you know, people who are not dead, or living people, as I believe they like to be known, is that, you know, your interest in them can actually start to impact their life, and you know, especially with people you know personally. You know, it can happen that you start spinning on a, you know, a colleague or a neighbour or whatever. I think there's three golden rules. The first is leave them alone. The second is, no, seriously, leave them alone. And the third is, yes, even you leave them alone. I've been on both sides of kind of workplace crushes and things, and yeah, the thing is, it's the person who's on the receiving end is not in any way responsible for the feelings of the other person. You know, even though, you know, and you sort of put them on a pedestal and hold them up as being wonderful, and they're just a person at the end of the day. They're just someone who's there. You know, they didn't ask for this. And if they do sort of see you as a good friend and want to spend time with you and talk to you about their life and everything, then yeah, that's great. But if not, then there's nothing you can do about that. Leave them alone. Yeah, and I know how it feels, when you start obsessing over an individual person, and you sort of start thinking that, and oh, she said see you later, does that mean that she wants to see me later? No, no, she was just saying goodbye. It's everything they do is magical and full of meaning, and but it's not. It's not really. It's your mind playing tricks on you, and I think the act of developing a spin on a real person or a crush, as maybe, it's not something that you necessarily control. It's just that the way that you behave towards them is within your control. And certainly if it's someone you are in regular contact with, who you see around a lot, in whatever capacity, it's something that you really need to keep check on, because it can or that they can see it as being stalkerish or scary in some way, and if they don't return the feeling, which they probably don't, let's be honest. What's the chances? You're setting yourself up for a lot of emotional turmoil. I think, as I've said before, you don't control the spin. You let it happen, you ride it out, you enjoy it as it happens. But when it does sort of focus on another person, and you find yourself sort of wanting to impose your presence on them to some extent, it's that's when it when it impacts another person, then it's time to do your best to tone it down. I think, yes, when you enjoy a TV series, that's fine. That's completely harmless. If you enjoy a book, completely harmless. If you like learning about a period in history, whatever, do it. When it's an actual acquaintance, yeah, don't do it. It's yeah, it can get very weird very quickly. Yeah, and then there's the area of famous people, celebrities, which it's not quite as clear cut as the people you actually know. Because I mean, celebrities, whether it's a rock star or an author or a TV presenter or a politician, there's someone who is presenting themselves publicly, showing off their talents, probably earning a good living showing off their talents. And is there to be admired. It's their job. And if they're doing interviews and appearing on Facebook and things, talking about themselves, their life, their work. It's in public, public sphere. It's for everyone to consume. So there's more of a kind of blurred line between what is okay and what isn't, I think, with famous people. They've actually gone on record saying, I don't want my fans to be finding out where I live or anything like that. It's then yeah, clearly that is out of bounds. But then there are stories of celebrities having people hanging around outside their house. I mean, how have they found that out? How they found out their address? I mean, to me, the idea of actually going around following somebody about because you admire their work is starting to verge into the unhinged territory. But then, as I say, these people are public figures, quite literally. There's pictures of them everywhere, and well, if they're big names, there's pictures of them in newspapers and all over the place, just enjoying their day. And ultimately they are real people, like the acquaintances I was talking about. They are real people, going about their lives, doing things, but certain aspects of those lives are televised. So at what point do you draw the line between that this person is there for public consumption for everyone to gawp at, and at what point do they have a right to their private life? I think if there's things that they do not talk about in interviews and such like, if there's someone who doesn't talk about their family or their romantic relationships, then that's probably a cue that they don't really want their fans to be involved in that sort of thing. If there's someone who doesn't talk about their political views, then obviously that's not something that they want the whole public to be party to, and they don't talk about their religion or whatever. But what if it's just that they're not asked about those things? What if they're just irrelevant to their work? I mean, to me personally, I'm very clear about the difference between real life and fantasy. And to me, famous people are part of the fantasy world. Yeah, clearly I know they're real. But any kind of relationship I have with them is fantasy. They don't know I exist. I've never felt the need to, write fan mail, or get in touch with them, hang around outside stage doors saying, "Oh, I love you" or anything. I haven't felt the need to collect autographs. And I think there's a few reasons for this. I think one is kind of a little bit worried that I'd get starstruck and tongue-tied and embarrass myself. Another one is I don't really feel like I have anything groundbreaking to say. Now, I have this sort of sense of proportion. they probably have hundreds of people all the time coming up to them, oh, you're great, I love your work, whatever you've done, I love your show, your book, your music, whatever they produce. And, one more person isn't going to change that at all. It'd be a waste of both our time, in a way. Unless I really had something profound to say about their work, then what's the point, really? They're probably a bit sick of having people come up saying, "You're great, you love you, yeah, it's great, yep, well done." Um, and I've never felt that. Even when I was a child, I sort of felt that famous people were um, not oh, I wouldn't say not interesting to me, but not available for interaction, let's say. I suppose as well, being disappointed. Maybe I'm a bit afraid of being disappointed. I've talked in the past about how I've been looking into the lives of people in the past. Well, I suppose this is what I was saying about the dead people. It's you start reading about the lives of famous people from the past, and you find out that they did something really disappointing, and it's crushing. I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel if somebody I knew actually became famous. Um, would I still sort of feel that they were just a friend of mine who happened to have a glamorous job or what? Um, actually, there is an exception. There's an exception. Foil Arms and Hog. The comedy troupe Foil Arms and Hog. I've been sort of following them on Facebook and YouTube for a while, and quite often just leave a little comment, and sometimes you get, it says Foil Arms and Hog liked this. That's sometimes you even get a little response to it, and I just sort of assumed they had a secretary, a social media manager, as one of them. And I heard an interview, and it was actually Arms, Conor McKenna, Arms, who does all the responses himself. He posts the videos, and then he goes through the comments and responds to them all. Oh my god! Oh, he's my favourite. Yeah, and I'm sort of there at 8 o'clock every Thursday morning, waiting for the new video, so I can sort of think up the wittiest response I possibly can. And yeah, if I get a sort of like or a laugh react to them, oh, be still my beating heart. Yeah, it's quite funny. As I said, I didn't actually realise it was him doing it. I don't know, why does it feel different knowing that it's someone I've seen doing a comedy act to when I thought it was somebody who worked for them. What's the difference there? Um, I suppose there is there's the thing that I just have such a massive crush on Conor McKenna. But would it be different if it was somebody else who I didn't have a massive crush on? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Not really sure where I'm going with that story. Um, it sprang to mind, and no, it's sprung from mind. Um, yeah, what? Well, where was I going? Where was I going before I started rambling about foil arms and hog? Yeah, famous people spins. Yeah, I think that's partially why when I'm doing the me and my spin recordings, I don't actually do any about individual people, because I think it could come across as being sort of quite creepy. Um, I think I suppose I kind of wonder, how would I feel if it was me? If there was just some complete stranger on the internet talking about, making a long video about how wonderful I was. I'd be a bit freaked out by that. But at the same time, there is this issue that famous people do what they do um, in public, and they have lots of attention lavished on them by complete strangers. And I don't, it's a very it's a very strange situation to be in. I suppose both for the famous person themselves and for their fans. Um, and I wonder sometimes, do they kind of look through all their posts from their fan base on the internet, and kind of read what people are saying about them, and do they just have a good laugh at it, or do they start getting a bit scared? Do they start feeling they ought to change all the locks? I don't know. I suppose I find it very hard to put myself in that situation. I suppose, and there is something very attractive about just being a celebrity in itself, because obviously they have some sort of talent, whether they're a singer or a writer or a comedian or whatever else. Comedian. Um, and being able to sing or write or act or is in itself, it sort of doubles your sex appeal. And obviously, having a glamorous job is sort of, it's got some magic to it as well. And they're probably fully aware that a lot of people fancy them. Um, and some people will take that a bit far. But again, there is that line to be drawn. What's enjoying someone's work, what's pestering them, and what's harassment. Um, I think the thing is, if probably if they've actually um, but then of course they've got to be nice to their fans, haven't they? Got to sort of put on a nice smiley face when they get fans coming up to them, because that's part of the job as well. Responding to fan mail, and giving out hugs and signing all the autographs and shaking everybody's hands and whatever else. That's all part of the job when you're a big star. Um, so and it's easy to see how that kind of friendliness can um, sort of be misinterpreted by someone who's um, who's desperately wanting attention back from that person. Um, and and that kind of thing. That's where it gets difficult. Yeah, I think if you're actually getting to the point that you're following this person around, then yes, that's crossing the line. If you're doing things that this person has actually expressed that they don't want fans to be doing, then yes, you are clearly crossing a line. But at what point does turning up at all their shows and wanting to talk to them after the shows, um, at what point does that become unreasonable? Or even if you never contact them, but you just sort of watch their films or their TV series, whatever they're in, whatever book they wrote. If you just sort of enjoy their work over and over again and constantly fantasize about them, at what point does that become a dangerous obsession? I suppose if it's affecting your life or the lives of people around you, if you're sort of disappointed in your partner because they are not the celebrity that you have a crush on, then yeah, that's going. Then it becomes a problem, and so on and so forth. If you're annoying your friends by constantly going on about this person, then again, that's, I suppose to some extent it's the nature of spin, but at the same time, there's such a thing as consideration for others. It's a difficult one, famous people. I'd be interested to hear people's thoughts on that. What is a reasonable behaviour if you have a spin on a celebrity? Comment me. I've been there nearly half an hour now. I think that's plenty of time. That's enough from me. I'll see you in the next one.